Dude, do the math on that shit.
Yeah.
Okay, people think, oh, I'm gonna go from $1 million to $1 billion. Yeah, you know how many times you got to bank $1 million, pay taxes, all the employees, keep a margin of it. How many times you got to make $1 million to keep $1 billion? Thousands and thousands of times, and not blow it. So you know, you need to eat good, you need to take care of yourself, and you need to stay out of no free time, because free time is where drug dealers live. Free time is where depression and the devil live. Okay, like I don't have free time. If this place was burning down right now, you ain't gonna be thinking, oh, I'm depressed, I can't leave. If this room gets hot enough, you will fucking roll your ass out of here as fast as you can. So urgency, man, you want to have urgency in your schedule. The only time I've ever gotten in trouble in my life, right before I got in trouble, I was bored. Every fucking single time I got in trouble in my life, every time. I got bored, and then I compromised the people I was around. When you're bored, you compromise. You bring the wrong chick home, you get an STD. You know what I'm talking about, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, you know, hey man, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Not that chlamydia, it came on with you, okay? So why? Because you got bored, okay? You should have been home, dude. You should have been sleeping, preparing for the next morning, getting up early, go get your workout in, get your hustle on, go to breakfast with somebody, get in a group, a mastermind with some people that won't put up with that bullshit. Because people that are hitting, playing on all the cylinders, like they're running and gunning, they don't have time for bullshit. They don't want the trouble, and they're not bored. And if you're going to be bored, dude, make sure it's on 300 feet.
In a video that you put out, it's called In 5 Steps to Becoming a Millionaire, you talked about if you plan to live on $1 million, you're not wealthy, but you're actually worried. So what would you say is the most fundamental mindset shift that people have when it comes to the way that they look at money?
How old are you?
21.
Yeah, dude, look, $1 million is not any money. Like, I mean, $1 million is no money, okay? You went from having no money to $1 million, and now you still have no money. So I'm just telling you, one emergency, one car wreck, one cancer treatment, one political event, another inflation's going to steal the money. Like $1 million for you, if you had no more income, $1 million for you, divided by, let's say, how old are you going to live?
I'd like to say 80.
Okay, you're going to live 80 years, okay, maybe.
I'd like to say 80.
Divided by what are you, 21 years old? So you got, what is that, 59 years? Okay, divided by 12. You could spend $1,400 a month on your $1 million. If there's no inflation. $1,400 a month, bro, that's not even rent. You can't even go to lunch once. You ain't strapped a condom on yet. Okay, nothing. You ain't had a bottle, you hadn't, like nothing. You hadn't made one mistake. That's what you can spend if you never earn any more income. So you know, first of all, people have to understand, man, it takes a lot of money to have any freedom. A lot of money, tremendous amounts of money. And the fact that anybody watching this right now, you're like, oh my God, this guy thinks $1 million is no money. I am telling you, it is no money. Or like, why do you think I'm telling you that? Because it's fucking no money. The only people think $1 million is a lot of money are people that don't have any money. So the other thing you guys need to understand is we all think green is green because somebody told us it's green. Or sweet is sweet because they didn't call it sour. If they just said sweet was sour, we'd call it sweet sour. And the only reason we believe $1 million is a lot of money is because somebody told you that it was a lot of money, and the person that told you it was a lot of money didn't have $1 million. You understand?
Yeah.
Because it's not a lot of money. Ask Cuban if it's a lot of money.
Right.
He'll be like, I can't do anything with $1 million. Nothing.
Yeah.
So now, if you broke, you're like, oh, that's all the money in the universe, right? But it's not true. It's your reference point on it. So if you believe that, by the way, if you think you're going north and you're going south, you're wrong. Even though you believe you're going north, you're still wrong. If you think $1 million is a lot of money and you get it, don't be shocked when you're like, shit, this is not a lot of money. But that's what you worked for. So last thing I'll say on this is this, okay? Look, if you don't have any money right now, like if you first of all, if you have money problems all the time, you don't have any money, you're broke, you should have no opinions about money. Your opinion should only be, I don't know shit about money because I'm doing something wrong with it. The other thing is you got to quit telling people you got money problems, because if you don't have any money, you don't have a money problem. Because you don't have any money. So you got to quit running around telling me, I got a money problem, I got a money problem. No, you don't have any money. You'll have a money problem when you have $1 million. That's the only thing you're going to get with $1 million is problems. So you get to 10 million, now you got 10 million money problems. You get to 100 million, now you got 100 million. My advice to everybody watching is if you're going to have money problems, okay, don't let it be zero. And make sure it's got a bunch of zeros added to that one.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And you know the famous quote, they say that the poor get poorer, the rich get richer. For someone who may be broke and they
And
are...
a few get wealthy.
There you go. But they're stuck in that cycle of poverty. What's your advice to someone who is trying to break that cycle? They want to get really serious about becoming financially free in today's world.
Yeah, so look, rich is not wealthy. You know, so you got poor, you got rich, you got wealthy. And in between, you got a bunch of different variations. You got the middle class. A lot of people stop in the middle class. They go from poverty because your immigrant parents came in, they had nothing, and now you earn 70 grand a year. Oh, we're doing so good compared to my grandpa. Bro, you're doing so good compared to everybody. So what? That doesn't mean you can pay your bills, right? You get to 140,000, you're like, oh my God, I'm unbelievable. You get a job at Facebook, you're making 400 grand a year. You live in Austin downtown, you're like, I still don't have any money. So you got to quit comparing yourself to everybody else. What I do is I compare myself to the amount of money on the planet. There's $80 trillion, 80 trillion, bro, in circulation. So it's like, that's US dollars. That's not counting all the other bullshit currencies. So I'm like, man, how do I get a tiny piece, like just a sniff, a whiff, a taste? Just let it visit me for a second, right? But I need it to be enormous amounts because there's this poverty conscious you're talking about. You're like, there's a shortage of money. No, there's not. There's so much money. There's more money than there are people. There's more money than there are telephones. There's more money than there, like,